Good evening and welcome to the December 16, 2020 legislative session of the Penfield Town Board. And this is our last legislative session of 2020. And I welcome everyone. Online via Zoom tonight we have Councilwoman Draw, Councilwoman Cole, Councilman Moore, and Councilman Ockenden. And of course we have our great town attorney, Mr. Richard J. Horowitz. Here in the auditorium tonight, the town clerk, Amy Steckloff, and myself, and we'll lead everyone in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And for the record, I'll ask for a roll call.
Draw.
Here.
Cole.
Here.
LaFountain.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Ockenden.
Here.
Okay, before we get into our agenda, I'll read our official notice. Due to COVID-19 virus and the closing of town operations consistent with the governor's executive orders, the December 16th, 2020 Town Board legislative meeting will be held remotely via Zoom. This meeting will also be video recorded and broadcast live via the town's website at penfield.org, on the town's government access cable channel 1303, and on streaming media device, that's Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You may search Penfield TV in your device's app store. This is a free app. The meeting will later be transcribed. Questions regarding video coverage, please contact Penfield TV at 340-8661. And if you would like to address the board on any matter, there are two public participation opportunities this evening, one at the beginning of our agenda and one at the end of our agenda. You may participate via phone, 340-8771, or by electronic submission at penfield.org. So thank you for that. We will start right in with communications and announcements. I'll recognize our clerk to start things off.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. We are now selling Easy Pass tags, adding another convenience for our town residents. Drivers can purchase a prepaid Easy Pass for $25 and register online or by calling 800-697-1554. Once registered, the $25 purchase fee will be moved to your account to start your total balance. Please note, the tags are for personal use, two-axle cars, trucks, and vans, and not for business or commercial use. The town hall is currently operating by appointment only due to COVID-19 protocols, so please call me at 340-8629 to make an appointment. And for more information about Easy Pass, please visit easypassny.com/register. Also, there is still time to donate frozen turkeys to the Penfield Ecumenical Food Shelf located at 1618 Jackson Road for the holiday distribution. The annual event will be held this Saturday, December 19th. Turkeys weighing between 8 and 12 pounds may be dropped off between 7:30 and 8:30 a.m. at the food shelf. Recently, the food shelf's new garage addition was completed, adding more storage space and more room for volunteers to better observe physical distancing. The food shelf has gone from serving 100 families pre-pandemic to 150 families. Thank you to our generous community and volunteers for helping make the food shelf what it is today. And for more information, please contact the food shelf at 234-0799 or visit their website at www.penfieldecumenicalfoodshelf.com. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Draw, any comments, announcements this evening?
No announcements, Mr. Supervisor. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And Councilman Ockenden, how are things in your world, sir?
Just fine, thank you. No special announcement this evening.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Moore.
Mr. Supervisor, real quick, if I can, I've got a town proclamation for December 16th today, which is the birthday of Greater Western New York Region. If I can read this for a second, so it's in the record. Whereas the Revolutionary War fought on behalf of the independence of the 13 British colonies, of the 13th British colonies, ended with the Treaty of Paris, finalized on September 3rd, 1783, and signed by Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and John Jay at the Hotel de York in Paris, and ratified by the Continental Congress on January 14th, 1784. Whereas the United States of America at that date consisted of 13 original colonies, each colony becoming a sovereign and independent state, is defined by the Articles of Confederation. And whereas the states of Massachusetts and New York have had a territorial dispute regarding the state and dominion over the region from approximately Seneca Lake to Lake Erie and the mile strip immediately east of the Niagara River. Whereas the Treaty of Hartford resolved this dispute in favor of New York State, but gave Massachusetts the title and the preemptive rights to the land so designated as the region west of the 82nd milestone or millstone from the Pennsylvania border to Lake Ontario shores. Whereas 9 years later in 1795, Daniel Penfield, who served in the Revolutionary War under Oliver Phelps, purchased Township 13 of the 4th range of the Phelps and Gorham Purchase, which was to become the town of Penfield on March 30th, 1810. Be it therefore resolved that Tony LaFountain, Supervisor of the Town of Penfield and the Penfield Town Board here in New York, on behalf of the citizens, do hereby proclaim December 16th as the birthday of Greater Western New York Region and call on the observance to the attention of all our citizens, encouraging them to observe this historical day in a manner they feel suitable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Thank you very much. That was something that I know a number of communities across our area that are doing, and thank you very much for that. Councilwoman Cole.
No, I have nothing.
All right, very good. Thank you. We'll move on to our public participation. As we mentioned in our official notice, there are two opportunities to do that. You can call in at 340-8771. Or you can log on at penfield.org. I'll wait for a moment. I don't see anything on my screen, but I'll just give it a moment to see if we have anyone call in. And I'll use this opportunity to just say that as I was getting ready for town board, I received a text message to say that we have 18 of our snow plow vehicles out on the roads, and to make sure that salting our hills, curves, intersections, and make it safe for our residents. I always like to remind our residents at this time of the year, this is our kind of our first major snow, if you will, even though it's only a couple of inches. And we all need to take time to just kind of back off a little bit, get a little more familiar with our roads, and drive a little with a little extra care. And so I'd ask that you do that. Please recognize our large plow trucks. Don't try to race them. Try to beat them to either intersections or things like that because they are a lot bigger, a lot heavier, and stop a lot slower than you. And typically whenever we have an interface where both of those vehicles, your car, our truck, tries to occupy the same space at the same time, we tend to have no damage and you tend to have a lot of damage. So please drive safe and make sure that you're safe for the upcoming holidays. Okay, seeing no calls in at this time, there is a second opportunity at the end of our agenda to call in and discuss any matter with the board. At this point, we have additions and deletions, and I'd like to recognize Councilman Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. One addition for tonight's agenda, a resolution 20T-214 entitled Setting a Public Hearing to Consider the Issuance of a Conditional Use Permit to allow a barber shop at 1826 Penfield Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
I second that addition.
Thank you, Councilwoman Cole. So moved and seconded. That will show up as indicated 20T-214. All right, we do have a set of minutes before us. They're the minutes from November 4th, 2020. and I would entertain a motion of approval for those minutes.
So moved, Mr. Supervisor.
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Councilman Ockenden, second by Councilwoman Dra. I'll ask at this time, is there any discussion on those minutes?
No, sir.
Seeing none, I would ask for a roll call vote of approval.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, thank you very much. Next on our agenda, petitions, and I'll ask, has the town board, town attorney, or town clerk received any petitions since our last meeting?
Have not.
All right, thank you. We will then start our resolutions by function. We'll begin with law and finance.
Authorization to accept and certify the standard workday report for elected and appointed officials.
Moved.
Second.
Be it resolved that on record, all the activities kept by elected and appointed officials for 3 months, their New York State retirement will be credited for service time worked as per attachment form. Be it further resolved, as required by New York State and local employee retirement systems, standard workday and reporting resolutions for elected and appointed officials will be certified by the town clerk and made available to the public via the town's website and posted on official signboards of the town for a minimum of 30 days after this resolution is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing no further discussion, a roll call vote.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Appointment of Deputy Receiver of Taxes.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas be it resolved that the town of Penfield hereby appoints M&T Bank at 3 City Center, Suite 700 at 180 South Clinton Avenue in Rochester, New York, as Deputy Receiver of Taxes for the town of Penfield. Now be it further resolved that this resolution appoints M&T Bank Deputy Supervisor of Taxes effective January 1st, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion. Standard resolution we do each year at this time. Seeing no further discussion, roll call vote.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Setting a public hearing to consider incentive zoning, a conditional use permit, preliminary and final site plan approval to allow a 3,500 square foot Burger King restaurant and a 3,500 square foot office building at 2146 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas an application has been received by the Penfield Town Board to consider the application for incentive zoning and conditional use permit and preliminary and final site plan approval for the development of a 3,500 square foot Burger King restaurant and a 3,500 square foot office building on 1.45 acres in the business non-retail zoning district at 2146 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Penfield will hold a public hearing at the Penfield Town Hall on January 20th, 2021 at 7 p.m. on said date to consider the application and to hear all persons interested in this application. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution certified by the town clerk shall be published at least once in the official newspaper of the town. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Setting a public hearing to consider issuance of a conditional use permit to allow a home improvement office and residence at 1780 Penfield Road.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas an application has been received by the Penfield Town Board for the issuance of a conditional use permit pursuant to Chapter 250-5.10-B-4 of the Code to allow a home improvement office at the residence at 1780 Penfield Road in the Four Corners zoning district. Be it resolved that the Penfield Town Board of the Town of Penfield shall hold a public hearing at the Penfield Town Hall on January 20th, 2021 at 7 p.m. on said date to consider said application and hear all persons interested in the questions of the issuance of this conditional use permit. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? See no further discussion, a roll call vote?
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorization for supervisor to sign a license and hold harmless agreement to allow a fence and shed within a drainage easement at 20 Thomas Maria Circle.
Moved.
Second.
Be resolved that the town board of the town of Penfield shall authorize the supervisor to sign a license and hold harmless agreement with the owners of the property at 20 Thomas Maria Circle to permit a shed and a fence within a drainage easement to the town located at the residence of 20 Thomas Maria Circle in a form and substance acceptable to the Penfield town attorney. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, a roll call vote, please?
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Establishment of the Crown Point Section 4 Special Improvement District.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas a public hearing was held on December 2nd, 2020, to consider the petition to hear all persons interested in the establishment of Crown Point Section 4 Special District Improvement. Whereas the town board further discussed the petition at its work session on December 9th, 2020. Now therefore be it resolved that the annexed order be executed by the town supervisor and members of the town board to establish the Crown Point Section 4 Special Improvement District. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? See no further discussion, roll call vote, please?
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorization for 2-year renewal with the New York State Municipal Workers' Compensation Alliance.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the town has been a member of the New York State Municipal Workers' Compensation Alliance since 2017. Whereas the town of Penfield has thoroughly analyzed the proposal with support from our insurance consultant for renewal periods 1/1/21 through 12/31/21 and 1/1/22 through 12/31/22, and has concluded that it would be in the best interest of the town of Penfield to accept a 2-year renewal proposal totaling $583,358 payable in 8 quarterly payments. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor be and hereby authorized to accept and execute a 2-year proposal for workers' compensation coverage with the New York State Municipal Workers' Compensation Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. I think it's important to comment on this resolution, if I may, just for a moment. We started with our history with Alliance back in 2017, and again, this is for our workers' compensation. In 2017, our annual premiums were $377,626. There's been a lot of hard work by our risk management team that is made up of a cross-section of our department heads. And as we headed into 2018, that figure dropped from 377 to 358,000. 19 it dropped to 356,000. In 2020 it was 341,000. And with this resolution we're locking in 21 and 22 at $291,000. So from where we started in 17, we have reduced our numbers by $80,000 a year. And that's through a lot of hard work, not only from our department heads, but especially all of our employees trying to do the right thing to make sure they're doing everything safely. So hats off to our team and board. Thank you for your support on this and encouragement for us to continue working with our risk management team here at the town. With that, seeing no further comments, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Budget amendment authorizing contracting for professional tree removal.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the Director of Public Works has identified the need for the removal of numerous trees surrounding an elevated sanitary sewer line in the valley near Penfield Farms, formerly known as Harper Park. Whereas the removal of trees requires skills of an arborist and professionally licensed tree removal specialist due to the slope of the terrain, location, and size of the trees. Whereas the Town Board approves an amendment to the 2020 adopted budget, increasing sewer operations account appropriations in the amount of $66,000 from the sewer account fund balance. Now be it resolved that the Director of Public Works is hereby authorized to engage the services of Birchcrest Tree and Landscape to complete this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Discussion. See no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. 2020 budget amendment in the Sewer Operations Fund for insurance recovery.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the town of Penfield received insurance revenue to repair a town pump station damaged in a motor vehicle accident. Whereas the town board desires to have an up-to-date budget in relation to current income and expenditures. Now be it resolved that the following 2020 budget amendment be approved for the sewer fund as follows. Under revenue, insurance recoveries in the amount of $121,086.77 to appropriations for pump station repairs in the amount of $121,086.77.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Moore. This is the pump station that was damaged on Baird Road just south of Atlantic Avenue earlier this year. A roll call vote, please.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Approval of issuance of a conditional use permit to allow a restaurant with outdoor dining and food truck at 1794 Penfield Road, known as Chick Magnet.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas an application has been received by the Penfield Town Board for the issuance of a conditional use permit pursuant to Chapter 250-5.10-B-4 of the Code to allow for a restaurant and outdoor dining and food truck at 1794 Penfield Road in the Four Corners zoning district. Whereas the town of Penfield and the town board held a public hearing at the Penfield Town Hall on December 2nd, 2020 at 7 p.m. to consider the application and to hear all persons interested in the question of this conditional use permit. Now therefore be it resolved that the applicant's request for a conditional use permit to allow a restaurant with outdoor dining and food truck at 1794 Penfield Road is hereby granted given the following conditions. For the record, Mr. Supervisor, there are 9 conditions. Most of them are pretty typical with what we see for a restaurant in the Four Corners zoning district. I just would like to point out condition number 4, which was discussed at the work session meeting last week. I'll read that condition. It says, the owners of the subject property have submitted a letter to the board dated December 7th, 2020, and co-owner of the property attended the December 9th, 2020 town board work session. Their letter is in response to a letter submitted to the board on December 2nd, 2020 by a resident neighbor to the north of the property requesting existing dilapidated fence be removed and replaced and the maintenance in that area be upgraded. They have agreed, the owner has agreed to remove the dilapidated fence and remove the junk and debris in the buffer area between their property and the residences to the north of said property prior to December 30th, 2020, and shall be required to install a replacement fence and fully enclose the dumpsters on their site no later than April 1st, 2021. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. I'm happy to report Mr. Costello shared with me that on Saturday the fence was removed. Things were cleaned up. They took advantage of the nice weather that we had, and so that phase has been completed. All right, see no further discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Roadway dedications for 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Whereas the following developers and owners have made application to the Highway Department of the Town of Penfield for the final dedication of town highways in the Town of Penfield, as noted in the following, described more fully on the subdivision plat maps listed below, which have been approved by the Board of Jurisdiction and have dedicated and released the necessary lands owned by them for the proposed highways. They are Redstone Builders Incorporated, Shady Rock Subdivision, the entity of Shady Rock Road, and Panorama Park Properties, LLC of Panorama Park Development, the entity of Parker Hill Drive. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board hereby accepts the dedication of these roads or portions, therefore, as described herein above, all in accordance with Section 171 of the Highway Law of the State of New York. And Mr. Supervisor, Board, just to clarify, the Redstone Builders Incorporated, the Shady Rock Road is opposite Bay Trail Scribner Schools on Scribner Road. The Panorama Park Properties are down in Panorama Plaza Office Park. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Draw. Any further discussions on this resolution? Seeing none, a roll call vote, please.
Draw.
Aye.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorization for supervisor to sign agreement with Teleview Virtual Television Networks for TV closed captioning service.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Whereas the town of Penfield entered into this agreement with Teleview Virtual Television Network for technologies and communication services to assist with its public education, government access television operations, and electronic communication services, and whereas Penfield Community Television provides communications and video media services to local government agencies, school districts, community groups, and the public through its cable and internet distribution services. Whereas Penfield Community Television seeks to continue expanding its technologies to better serve individuals with hearing difficulties. Whereas the Community Television Department has requested expanded professional services from Teleview to assist with closed captioning services. So therefore, be it resolved that the town board authorizes the town supervisor to sign an agreement acceptable to the town attorney with Teleview Virtual Television Networks for its closed captioning services.
Thank you, Linda. Further discussion, board? Right, seeing no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Draw.
Aye.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorization for supervisor to sign recreation contracts.
So moved.
Second.
This resolution authorizes the town supervisor to sign 9 recreation contracts. And they're dealing with instruction of different sports.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Further discussion, board? See no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Draw.
Aye.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, thank you. This brings us to old business. Is there any old business that come before the board this evening? Seeing none. New business, and we do have one resolution under new business, and I'll ask our clerk to please read that title of that resolution.
Setting a public hearing to consider issuance of a conditional use permit to allow a barber shop at 1826 Penfield Road.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas an application has been received by the Penfield Town Board for the issuance of a conditional use permit pursuant to Chapter 250-5.10B-4 of the Code to allow a barber shop at 1826 Penfield Road. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Penfield shall hold a public hearing at the Penfield Town Hall on January 20th, 2021 at 7 p.m. on said date to consider the application and hear all persons interested on the question of the issuance of this conditional use permit. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Draw.
Aye.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Great, thank you. This brings us to our next or second public participation. You can do that one of two ways. You can dial in at 340-8771. You can log on at penfield.org, and I'll have my screen in front of me. I'll wait for a moment. I'll just remind all of our viewing audience that town offices will be closed next week on Thursday and Friday, the 24th and the 25th of December. And the following Friday, January 1st, for New Year's Day. I see no calls coming in at this time, and therefore the December 16th, 2020 legislative session of the Penfield Town Board will stand adjourned at 7:30 p.m. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of our viewing audience and our great board happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a very happy New Year. And we look forward sometime in 2021 maybe to get together a little bit more in person rather than virtually. But until then, we'll remain safe, be safe with your families, and as always, be well and be safe. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Thank you, Penfield TV.
Thank you.